Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, and welcome back to Loving Lori Women Crush Wednesday. You guys, I am so excited because me and Brenda have been trying to do this for like freaking a year. I don't even know. This is
Divine timing.
yeah, seriously. This is my beautiful friend Brenda, and she has her own business. We are here right now. So I want you to tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do and just about you.
Well, my name is Brenda, as she said. I'm with Jade Healing, and what I do is I practice Reiki and I teach it. And that includes card readings, house cleanses, feng shui consultations, and just pretty much living a conscious life and learning with you guys.
Girl, I did not know that you did feng shui. I need you to come to the house because I
Anytime.
need to move that energy around.
Anytime.
Okay. So, with that, what the heck was I gonna say? Because I was thinking, okay, the divine timing. It's so true. It was so funny. So we've literally been trying to meet up, and then either like I'm not feeling good, she's not feeling good, something happens, it doesn't end up working out, and
Life.
yeah, and she ended up messaging me today, and she's like, "Are you coming?" I was like, "Yes, I'm always on my appointments."
Trying to make
But
sure.
yeah, because we just never worked out, and today I actually brought my grandma, which you guys, if you guys have grandmas that are like old school and like Catholic, like that's a big freaking deal that she was open enough to like get Reiki. And I was like, I don't, when I told her about Reiki, like Brenda's face popped up in my head. So I was like, I have to have Brenda do it because that's who she needs it from. Um, and it's just funny how everything worked out the way it worked out today because my tia got Reiki from you, my grandma got Reiki from you, and now I get to be here and do this. And it was such an easy flowing day, right? So I'm starting to change up, just like I said on my last Woman Crush Wednesday video. I'm changing it up. Of course, I'm going to put her business, Instagram, and where you can contact her for healing. But I want to talk more about women and their story and to be to be able to share their story so that you guys can relate and people that have maybe gone through hard times or whatever that you've gone through in your life can relate and understand that you are not alone. So with that, I want to ask the first question, which I'm going strong. What was the hardest thing that you have been through in your life?
I think it has to be the death of my sister.
Don't start crying because I'm gonna start crying.
Oh my god. It has been the biggest destruction in my life, but it has definitely been the biggest motivation for transformation in my life. She's been gone now 4 years, and I know that she's much more alive than we are, and I know she's with me all the time, but I can say that being a survivor of abuse from my childhood was hard, but nothing compares to the pain of losing my sibling.
With that and with that death, what what helped you get through that? And 4 years is not a long time.
Mm.
Like you're still obviously grieving. I think that's something that I've learned within these last 2 years. When my cousin passed, and I think that's the first like death that I've ever had in my family, other than like my great grandma. But I feel like at that age, you know that's gonna happen. Um,
Exactly.
and I think it's hard when it's something that is just kind of out of nowhere.
And it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and there's just so many questions, and I think that's something that I've struggled with in my experience, it's funny because I'll talk to my cousin, her sister. So my cousin that passed, her name is Michelle, and her sister's name is Janine, and I'll tell her like I just feel bad feeling sad because you're her sister, and I can't even imagine losing my sister. Like I love my sister so much, and that's who you grow up with, right? And just like you said, when you go through childhood traumas or you go through different things, this is the person that is with you and knows you from basically either the day you were born or they were born, whatever it is, whoever was older. um and and just learning that grief isn't this thing that you go through and then it just goes away.
No.
Like it's a continuing process.
I think what helped me is going to therapy. I'm a big advocate of therapy, and my therapist telling me that it doesn't go away, but we learn how to live with it. And it has definitely been a learning lesson. And I think the fact that I'm on this path of spirituality and consciousness that gave me that extra knowingness that their souls are done with this journey, and they're transmuting into their next level, and how much more alive that soul is than my soul is, because I'm still here in this journey trying to figure out the whole reason behind everything that we go through in this journey, and knowing that they're capable of being with us and continuing on with the evolution of their soul. So that awareness makes it a lot more peaceful. Of course, as you can see, I still get emotional.
Yeah.
I still miss my sister. My ego misses her touch, her funny stuff. But my spirit does definitely still exist with her.
Yeah. Which that makes sense, because I feel like you have these moments, whether it's throughout your day, that it's just like, you know that they're there.
And I wanted to touch base on you saying that you didn't want to kind of tell your cousin, the sibling, about your pain.
Yeah.
But every pain is valid. It's just like me. I'm going through my pain, and I don't dare to pretend to know what my parents are going through. They lost a child.
Yeah.
But my pain is still valid. Their pain is still valid. And even with my little sister, her pain is kind of similar to mine, but it's unique to her. But we're all valid in it. So.
And their relationships. Yeah.
So your pain is valid, Mama.
Yeah. And I think that's hard when you're seeing, and I've thought of that too, like my what is it called? My aunt and my uncle. Like, yeah, they lost their daughter, and I think the weird thing in like that specific circumstance is that my cousin was diagnosed with stomach cancer, which is what her grandma died of and one of her aunts died of, and my aunt never got anybody tested because she was like, I'm the one that's gonna get it, my kids aren't gonna get it, and she was just waiting for that day to happen, and it happened to my cousin. And I think we just had this like very healing conversation, my cousin and I, when I told her that, and she said the same thing you said. And I think it's hard to like take that in sometimes, because it's just like, no, but you're closer in a different way, or you're this or you're that. But even with that, what was I saying? I guess the part that you mentioned, like the being angry and not understanding why, and like wanting to know like what the heck, like
all the waves.
Yeah.
I was pissed for a year.
Yeah.
My first year of grief was I was pissed. And you think that it's going to take these steps that are organized through the steps of grief, and it's like a circus. You go through it like one day you're this, one day you're that, and then you're pissed again and or denial. But it's learning how to just be gentle and embrace whatever is.
Yeah.
And don't allow anyone to tell you how to grieve. That's one lesson I learned, and one of my biggest triggers is for people to tell me how to grieve.
Yeah, that makes sense. How I don't even. Well, I guess I've never had anybody tell me how to grieve, but that's such a I can't, as me who I am, like I can't imagine being like, no, don't cry like that, don't do this.
Or like
this
in
is
our
what you
culture,
need to do.
let it go, let her go.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And my thing was, how much more do you want me to fucking let her go? She's gone.
Yeah.
Like, what does that mean? You know? And it feels offensive. And I feel that if we're holding space for someone that's grieving, do not allow yourself to know or assume what they're going through. Just hold space and be whatever the person's asking you to be, if you can be that.
That's true. Okay, with that, or I guess ping-ponging off of that, if today was your last day, do you feel like you've lived life to the fullest, and do you feel like you've done and made decisions that you would be okay with today being your last day?
That's a good question, man. I mean, what choice would I have, right? If it was my fucking last
It
day,
is
I
what
mean,
it
I'm
is.
done. I'm done. But to look back, would I have regrets of things that maybe I wish I would have done? Maybe with this awareness, no, because then I have to follow the everything is the way it needs to be and what
Mm-hmm.
it's meant to be. My ego, though, it's like, well, where's your house and where's your Porsche and where's all these dumb things. But in essence, spiritually, I feel like this would be it. This would be as much as I gave in this lifetime.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one. So it is what it is.
It is
and
what
just,
it is.
it's just being okay with
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Which is kind of hard.
But I think it's also good. I've been thinking about that a lot lately. I don't know why. Like, if like passing in this lifetime, because I feel like that was my biggest fear for such a long time was death. But at the same time, also understanding like, okay, like I've shown up for my friends, or I've done this and I've done that, and if it's my time to go, what is wrong with death? Like, I think there's always this scary, especially growing up Catholic, like there is this scary unknown of like, well, what happens to me?
And
And
the
I think,
Scorpios, we represent death.
yeah, I know. And rebirth. And let me tell you, all the shit
Girl.
that we have to go through, I'm over it. Just kidding, universe. I'll take it before they send me something else.
JK.
Just kidding, just kidding. But like being okay with if that, just like you said, if she came and she did her what she needed to do and it was her time to go,
Yeah.
and like being okay with like, if this is my last day, it's my last day, and there's nothing to be scared of anymore, because like you said, like you have her spirit. And
she never got married. She never had a boyfriend. She became a psychologist. She still lived with my mom and my dad. But yeah, it feels like she left such a beautiful legacy of unconditional love and space. And it makes sense to me now how her soul's journey was done intact.
yeah,
In its own way.
if you were to pass away today and it was your last day, what do you think your friends and family would say about you?
I hope they laugh a lot of all the crazy shit that I've done and said and things that we've been through, and I just hope I was a good friend and a good daughter and a good sister. And I hope that people that have shared space with me have enjoyed that space with me. I just want to be genuine and true. That's very important for me to know, that people knew that I was who I was.
Yeah.
No pretense, no anything. I can't believe you're gonna make me cry this interview, girl.
Girl, if you haven't seen my interviews, I'm like Oprah.
Wow.
Nobody quote me on that, because Oprah's gonna come for me.
Where's our makeup person, por favor?
She's on break right now. I'm so sorry. Sarah, did you hear that? We need you. She's not very good at it though. You might look like you got a black eye. Do you feel that about yourself?
I'm learning to. This past year has been that journey of falling in love with myself unconditionally. Because I realized that in these relationships that I was quote unquote co-creating or attempting to co-create in, I was expecting a lot of unconditional stuff, when in reality I had to ask my question, why was I meaning to attract or wanting that when I couldn't give that to myself? So hence moving forward, wanting to attract unconditional space in my loving relationships, I have to become it. So I'm starting to appreciate me for the first time in my life. That's at awesome. 46.
Hey, that's okay. It doesn't matter. I was just telling my grandma, because you had told her to take a class, and I was telling her, like, don't you remember?
English,
Yeah, I was telling her. She said that. She has said that forever.
She's so cute. She goes, it's too late. I'm like, what? It's never too late.
I still try speaking Spanish. It's very bad. It's not too late though. I could still mess it up. But it was funny because I told her that, or you were telling her that, and then what did I tell her? I lost my whole train of thought.
Oh, she wanted to take a class.
She did. She wanted
That's
to
what
take a
happened.
class.
And
What
that's
did
what
you say
happened.
before that?
Oh, because I said that I'm learning how to love myself
Oh,
unconditionally
and you said your age.
at
That's why.
46.
Okay, so this is what I told my grandma. I told her if she remembered my sister's graduation from Mount Sac, just like with her A. I was gonna say just your A. Sorry, Nikki. You did it. I didn't do it. But there was a little old lady in like her late 80s, almost 90,
Oh my God!
like
how
graduating.
inspirational.
So I was like, so you're young compared to her.
Yeah.
Like don't sit here and say that. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how old you are. At least you're learning, because there's some people that die at freaking 90, 100 and still don't know how to love themselves.
This is true. And again, divine timing, right? And
Exactly.
the freedom of your soul, of
Yeah.
what it chooses to evolve in or not.
What advice would you give to somebody grieving their loved one or a sister, let's say specifically?
I think the most important for me in grief, which is ironic that this topic's so popular around my life right now, is that you embrace it. A lot of us are taught to kind of shy away the uncomfortable emotions, the anger, the sadness, the fear, the all this, and change it to happy and all. And I think it's all about embracing your grief, allowing yourself to feel the circus of emotions that you are going to go through. I would totally recommend therapy, and I would recommend some sort of journey to get to know who you are and why we are here. And I think with learning about that and exposing ourselves to that, we start learning about the purpose of our soul, which then puts us in a state of eternity. Our souls are eternal.
Mm-hmm.
So grief is a process that we're all going to go through, and we go through it with people. We go through it with situations. We go through it with sometimes even objects or items that we lose or we get rid of or whatnot. Also, something else that's common, like women that have babies, they go through a grief state because the life that they used to know dies.
Yeah.
And then there's this new life, which is beautiful, but I think we should allow them to have that moment of grief because that life completely has ceased to exist. And I feel that if we don't process grief, then it's just a little ticking time bomb that will eventually blow up and perhaps be very chaotic and destructive.
Yeah, I agree with that. I get that. I don't know how I ended up, well, because I'm a stepmom now, but I'm like on mom TikTok also.
Oh,
and
you're so cute.
There was a video that was talking about that and how like women, especially moms, get shamed for like talking about their kids. She's like, but I have nothing else anymore. And she said, the girl was saying like, I used to be able to go out with my friends and get a drink and do this, and she's like, but now I can't, and I can't do the things I used to do. So then when I do get out, unfortunately, that is what I'm talking about. Do I want to be the one talking about my kid the whole time? No, but that's the life that I know now. And I definitely think a lot of people don't grieve what they had beforehand. And I feel like even in my journey, what we were just talking about, like, obviously I'm choosing to be in a relationship with somebody that has a kid, but I didn't know everything that I was going to lose becoming this person, because now it's not, oh hey, I'm just gonna come out and hang out with Brenda for the day and I'm gonna take my grandma here and I'm gonna do that and I don't have to worry about my partner because I know she's good at home. It's like, okay, well, are you okay? Like, is there someone to pick up Leilani? Is there this? Is there that? And you really don't know until you're in the situation.
Yeah,
like what it yeah, exactly.
And not only that, personally, you know, lifestyles, personalities, and all of that. Yeah, grief is super important, even in ending relationships. Not until this previous relationship that I was in, I was just used to just moving and not really grieving. And I feel that that had a huge impact for my previous marriage of not allowing me to grieve completely. And some of that crap that wasn't needed bled into this new experience that I had. And I had to go through it to learn this. But now moving forward, there is no way that I won't go through my grief of my previous before I start a new journey with someone else, because I love and respect myself, and I look forward in loving and respecting that new relationship.
Even with that, it's just crazy and so crazy how like divine timing and how everything aligns. One of the things that one of the conversations I had earlier this year was like, even when you take that time, because all three of my, well, Daisy was going through her own thing, and then my two other best friends, Crystal and Mel, had also had similar breakups to mine. We had all been in these relationships for 5-6 years.
I don't know why I want to say Daisy.
I don't even know if she watches my videos.
Daisy.
Bitch, if you're watching, comment right now. And if you've seen my Instagram, you guys know who Crazy Daisy is. You know, before I was wifed up, she's mad at me. Sorry, Daisy. We don't go get donuts anymore. Or ice cream. But I was having this conversation about, like, also this thing, not only just going through your grieving process and letting go of that past relationship in order to be whole enough to start a new relationship, but also giving your partner space, because sometimes things are going to happen in this new relationship that triggered you to remember things in your past relationship. And everybody's like, oh, you're not over this person, you're not this, you're not that. And it's like, no, like, I'm human, and I spent a good chunk of my recent past with this person, and I'm gonna have moments where
we're triggered.
Yeah,
we've been traumatized a little bit with the experience. Yeah.
Or
absolutely.
I don't the first Woman Crush Wednesday video that I posted, I literally started off with a letter to my ex, and it took a year to get to the point where, one, I could actually post it. But I sat down and I talked to Sarah about it, and I talked to my best friends about it, and I said, like I don't want to disrespect Sarah in any way, shape, or form. But I think that's something that I appreciate so much about Sarah, is that she gives me the space, and she knows that that is how I heal.
And it takes maturity to be able to do that.
Yeah, because it's not easy.
It's impressive, no.
Yeah, it's not easy, and especially when, like, one of the conversations that we had, which obviously I'm putting our stuff out there right now. Sorry, Sarah, if you didn't want me to say this, but I'm saying it. One of the parts where, like, I talk about the specific quote from what I wrote says, "We've loved in lifetimes before," and Sarah was like, "But we've talked about, like, how it feels natural to us," and, like, obviously Sarah's new to the spiritual journey thing, and to me it's like, yeah, because I feel like all our friends, all the people that we've met, they have been in our life before.
They're soulmates.
But exactly, and in different ways. And just because I had this soulmate doesn't mean you're not a soulmate, or it doesn't take away from our relationship, because our connection is still what our connection is. But the point to that one, and what came after the next quote, is, "But we were never meant to last." And it was no different here. And that's where, again, I don't mean disrespect to this person, like, that I'm with now, but there's still parts of us that are grieving and letting go and forgiving the hurt that someone else caused us before this person came. And each partner, I feel like, that we have, at least in my experience, like, each relationship has gotten better and better, right? There's still struggles, there's still things that we go through, but
that we needed to go through, because how would we know the contrast? I was actually taught by this kid who was 13, 14, that came out of nowhere and told me that the people that have hurt you the most are the souls that love you the most. And that took me back a little bit, and the explanation behind that was that we've assigned all the roles to these people in our lives that they have. So the person that came in to go through this very painful experience, that soul had to love us so much to say, okay, I'll be the bad guy of the story so that you can grow and evolve. And we've done that for others too. So with that knowledge, it kind of flipped everything around from victim island to own it. You wanted to go through these things. And now we can thank these people that did show up in our journey, because we have grown and evolved.
Exactly.
And then we're able to appreciate when it's healthier and better for us, as we're creating that better experience, like Sarah.
Yeah.
To see her in such a different light versus maybe where we were 5 years before. or we wouldn't appreciated certain things.
Exactly. I think that's so true, and that's such a good way of wording it. Like the kid, like what the kid said, like that's
It's beautiful.
yeah, it really is, and it's just like, oh, I don't know, that made me want to cry, but like,
Hurt her.
yeah, no, they've seen me cry plenty of times. Let me tell you, this whole YouTube was started on crying and going through the breakup. But I wasn't ready to say anything, and that's fun. Like at the end of it, that's exactly what I do. I thank her for showing up and causing all that
Beautiful.
to happen, because it and that's what I told Sarah too, because I feel like that was a part of the first conversation that me and Sarah had, because I read it to her, and I feel like I am just super open about things, but part of what I say too is like, you helped me create Loving Lori, or you made me Loving Lori, because that is when I started my YouTube, was because I was going through this pain, and I was like, what am I going to do with this? And I want to share it with people, and I want to let people know that they're not alone. I want to let people know that I've thought certain things. And with that being said, Sarah was like, but I support you in this and I support you in that. And it was just like, yeah, you do, and you do help create who Loving Lori is now, but this wouldn't have started if I didn't go through all that pain.
Right.
And I do appreciate her for doing that, because I had to go through that. Like, I got cheated on in high school, and then I got cheated on in this, like, the first real relationship as an adult. And I obviously didn't learn my lesson, because I still stayed. And I did what I did, but...
I'm actually proud you didn't run. Because normally, what do? We run.
Yeah.
So you got to the understanding of it,
Mm-hmm.
to be able to make a choice. This is not for me, which I think is a lot more stable
Yeah.
than just fucking running and being like, okay, I'm out. And Sarah gets to meet the more evolved, healthier you.
You're welcome, because I would have fought really bad with you. I would have said some mean things.
Right. And this is why it's been flowing the way it's been flowing. For sure. I'm grateful. It takes time, because my ego does go through the fussy mode and the victim mode. But as we're on this journey, it gets easier to be able to see the bigger picture, and also with help of beautiful people like yourselves that are putting things in perspective, our tribe. It gets better, and it starts making sense, versus us thinking it's happening to us or they're doing it to us. We start realizing, no, you're creating it. And how can you transform it?
You're attracting it by what you think, exactly.
What
and
we're
I think because depending on what, and maybe it's a Scorpio thing, or maybe it's just what we've gone through in our lives, but yeah, maybe both, all of it, the universe. But when you do, like, why did all bad things always happen to me? That was always my thing. Why is it always me? Why is it always me? And then I finally was like, I took them as lessons, and I think that has been my biggest takeaway, is like, fuck this. All right, cool. Fuck this, fuck this, fuck this. Okay, but now I'm gonna get through it.
Yeah.
And what did I learn from it? And I can appreciate the hard times, and even like my relationship with my mom. I love my mom to death, but oh my God, I cannot stand to be around her sometimes. And I'm sure she feels the same way about me. And Sarah was just telling me, like, that this weekend when we were with her, she was like, you're so much like your mom, and I think that's why you guys can't be around each other.
And of course, we're like our parents. They programmed us, right?
Jerks. Just kidding.
Yeah, it's a journey.
It's
definitely a journey. And I say to myself, you fucking chose this, dude.
Yes.
So now what? So that kind of prevents me from getting onto my little boat and go to my victim island. But it's more like, okay, if I created
Why did I choose this?
Yeah, like, what the fuck was I thinking?
Can I go
Even
back?
in this lifetime.
I pointed to the other family, not this
Por
one.
favor, not over here.
Yeah.
But it empowers us. Because then if we know we created it, then we're holding it. And if we're holding it, and if we don't like it, then we can transform it.
Yeah.
If we choose to and want to. Different ways of thinking and looking at things.
Okay, now for the, I guess, nicer, lighter side. What is it that gets you in your element where you lose track of time? Is it something? Is it somebody? Like, what is it where you just don't pay attention to time?
Like, no. I think it's a vibe, it's an energy, and if we're speaking the same vibration or language, I get lost. Music's another thing that gets me lost. And
I
I
love
just,
music.
yes, meditation with the body. I love dancing.
I can't dance, but I like to do it when
Oh,
I'm
I
by
love
myself.
dancing. Whether I can or not, who knows, dude? Everybody's gonna have their judgment, but I love moving my body to music. But I think it's been this tribe talk, talking to people that we're like-minded. We're here to be humble enough to be like, I don't know what the fuck's going on, but this is how it's feeling, and this is what we're finding and sharing. Another place where I feel I do kind of lose time is in teaching.
Okay.
Like the little classes that I have and stuff.
Why are you calling them little?
Because they're so cute. This is my idea. There are classes, but I'm not literally teaching. I'm simply reminding my tribe of things they already know and tapping back into that and sharing that space. So it's not this, oh, I'm a teacher, and I'm like right here with you. And how do we remind each other of the stuff that we've kind of let go of and we're going to bring back into our spirituality?
Yeah, I like that. If you guys want to take her classes, again, I'm going to leave everything on
Or
the
my
bottom.
big classes.
Yeah, they're big classes. They're big, important classes. They're not little. I don't know why she said
They
that.
could be cute and little too.
Maybe if you're cute and little. That's going to be your infomercial.
Cute and little.
Or big,
Or
okay,
big.
guys?
All welcome.
Every size, shape, color, and everything.
Oh.
She had to stop herself. She was going to say something inappropriate.
I'm like, that's to be questioned, but okay.
Yeah, we're a loving channel over here. It's loving Lori, Brenda. Our Scorpio side can't come out, although I know a lot of you have seen it. Okay? The things I say and the faces I make when people... Just kidding, I don't do that. Question. What is your favorite thing about yourself?
Oh, man.
Why is this hard?
Isn't it? Like in this whole... Because I'm thinking, is it my sarcasm or is it my cleanliness?
I love being clean. I
Me
totally
too.
get that.
But it could be excessive. I can admit that it's
No,
excessive.
I know I
sometimes.
have a problem. But it's so nice.
I think
It
it's my
feels good.
humor, sarcasm.
Okay.
I really enjoy that. I can sit there and laugh at myself with myself of shit that I'm
Okay.
talking in my own head, and then I find it hilarious. And I have had people look at me like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And I'm just like, I'm hilarious.
I think that's Sarah's favorite thing about me. Because she's like, you sit there and you just laugh at your own jokes and they're not even funny. And I'm like, but they are. They
So
are.
my ex used to look at me like, what is wrong with you? And I'd be like, it's just hilarious what I'm thinking right now. And I think of the responses, and I don't know. Do you have those Daisy moments that you think you're talking to her?
Daisy?
And she responds, and then we
Well,
laugh?
like I already know what she's going to say every time. Like, me and her, I think too, I think the way we connect, like I'll be thinking something and she'll send me a meme on it or something. Or we'll talk about something. What is the thing that we started with? It's fine, I'm fine. Because did you ever see that one? I don't know if it was on Instagram what it was, but it was a video that was like circulating. That basically it's like, oh, when women say they're fine, like you know that they're not fine. So like I'd call her and I'd be like, I'm fine. Okay, cool, I'm fine too. Bye. Or she'll tell me like these little things, like I'm letting you know I'm doing A, B, C, and D. That's it. Don't say anything. Okay, bitch.
And it's hilarious.
Yeah.
I have bestie moments in my head too. Total bestie moments that I think I'm talking to them and they're responding, and
because you already know them and you know what they're gonna say, so it's just easy, and then you just go and tell them when you actually have time to tell them.
Yes.
But I totally get that. And I think too with Daisy, or like obviously us, because we can be sarcastic, like when you find people that are like-minded and can mess around about like inappropriate things sometimes, like it's a good vibe. Yes, because it's just like, I would never say this out loud, but we're gonna say it here because this is a safe space. Don't ever fucking tell anybody I said that, because that's fucked up.
And I'm only sending it to you.
Yeah,
it's super
I'm
hilarious.
deleting it right after because I don't want anybody to know that I even think this is funny. Yes, I get that.
Which thank you, Daisy, for sending some of those things to me too, and it's hilarious.
Yeah, Daisy will put all her stuff out there too, though. That's why she's Crazy Daisy, though. Follow Crazy Daisy
Gotta
too.
love her.
Yes, I love her. Yes, and that too. I love her for being who she is, unapologetically, all the time.
And you've been pretty honest every time that I've engaged with you.
Thanks.
And you've been the fact that you're a Scorpio. I'm like, oh, partial.
We connect. We connect like that, you know. First of all, before I even ask this question, I do want to tell you everything that you said that you wanted people to think if you were to pass away today. You do embody that. Like, everything about you is... I'm gonna start crying.
Oh, you're gonna make me cry.
Don't look at me.
Like,
look away while I tell you how amazing you are. This is the problem, guys. You and I... So, I met Brenda, which I was supposed to start this off in the beginning. Taking one of her classes at the Mind's Eye. Where is it in Downey?
No, it's in Norwalk.
Norwalk. And it was like kind of my beginning part of my spirituality, minus everything that I grew up with my mom, because my mom's been doing her tarot cards and all that stuff forever, and she always told us, like, you chose me. And I'm like, why? I wanted the rich people next to you. But like, so I've always grown up with that. But as far as my spirituality and beginning my growth journey and my spiritual journey, it kind of all started when I took your class. And I'm so glad, I was thinking about it today, like, I'm so glad that our paths aligned in that way. Because, and I don't even know how we started talking on Instagram. Like, I started following her, and then that was it. Like, I'll reply to something, she'll say something, and then we started talking, and it was just like if I've known her forever, right. And that's what it feels like. And my tia said the same thing. When we left,
she told me.
Yeah, she was like, I don't know what it is. Like, I just feel like I've known her, and I was like, you probably did know her somewhere else. And but you have always embodied like this beautiful spirit, this beautiful soul, and that you are welcoming and accepting. And I think that's one of my favorite things, is that, like you said, you can just hold space for people. Because I think that's something that's hard for me, because I take it on. But I know when I message you and you'll, like you've said, like, I'm holding space for you. And it's like, okay, you're not taking it on, but you're just accepting me where I'm at. And I love that. And now that we have been able to sit here and laugh, and I mean, I've laughed at a lot of the things that, like, we've messaged back and forth too. So you are that light, that love, and I'm sure your parents and everybody else that, like, gets to know you on a deeper level. You're crying.
I just took a breath. Thank you.
Like, you...
But I'll say something. What we see in others, we're only able to see that because it's a reflection of ourselves.
I'm fucking great. I told you, Sarah.
And you are. And you are, Mama. And I'm trying not to cry. But it is absolutely a blessing to get a feedback that I've been able to create what my spirit and my most inner wishes are. Is to always have someone to feel like they can be themselves around me, and that we can share this journey, whatever this circus could be sometimes, and not feel judged.
Yeah.
And just feel perfect as you are and who you are with all of it.
Well, I appreciate you for that. I appreciate you. And the last question for all her friends and family that are going to watch this. How can people in your life better support you? What do you need from the collective? And be freaking vulnerable. Like, say what you actually want to say.
To have patience. I want to be held in unconditional space. I don't want to be censored. I don't want to be watered down. I don't want to be transformed to something that I'm not. I just want to be loved unconditionally for who I am and what I am in all of my faces.
That is beautiful.
But I know that in order to receive, I also must give it to myself first, so that I can also give and vice receive, and for it to be a perfect give and take. Because I don't want to drain anyone either that's giving to me, and I'm not giving back at that same capacity.
So, I'm going to tell you what you told me about my grandma. you have to also be okay with receiving it.
Yeah.
So even
Maybe.
even yeah, see, then there's our problem. I hope her therapist is watching. This is the issue right here. Um, but you need to allow people to do that for you, and it's okay that they're doing it more at sometimes, because just like relationships, sometimes you're 80-20, sometimes it's 20-80, whatever it is, you also have to be able to receive that from your friends and just let it be what it is. And they know, and especially people that know you and your soul for who you are, that you are going to give that back, or you've already probably given it to them and they're just repaying you for that. And just like you said, this perfect circle, nothing's perfect in this lifetime, in this world, but you have to be okay with getting that. So you're saying it, but be okay with receiving it.
Noted.
Write it down on your notebook, please. Okay, guys, this has been an emotional journey with two very fun Scorpios, badass women. It is International Women's Day. You guys won't see this till later, but today is
I honor you.
I honor you. And I appreciate you for sharing space with me. I appreciate you for sharing your story, and I appreciate you for just being who you are and coming into my life at the fucking perfect time, and for helping my grandma and my tia and me whenever I've needed her. So we celebrate you today. Thank you for being who you are. And I am going to leave you guys with love, light, and a big ol' hug. Bye, guys.